When a typical short-term team comes, there's a history of the evangelical church sending people and money into where they think it is needed most. And it's a big hurdle for us, because what that does, it creates a dependency at the local level on churches and people and efforts from North America. And so when we come in with our philosophy of ministry and want to enable them to be able to help themselves, their first response is, where's the money? Who's doing this for us? And that's not what we want. We want them to be able to be self-sustainable. God has given them the gifts, the resources. He's provided everything for them to do this. And sometimes in the past we have been more hurtful than we have been helpful. God, no matter what we do, God is working, and they need to understand that God is working for them too, and working with them, and loves them just as much as He loves anybody else in North America. When we walk into a community, we just don't walk into any community that has a need. They all have needs. I mean, everyone has a community that has hurting people. But we're wanting to find someone that lives within that community, who has a heart for change, who wants to see change within the people of this community, who want to see this community grow and thrive and prosper. And the interesting thing is that this person of peace is what we call them. They don't have to be a believer, but through the process of seeing God in action, God at work, they understand. They begin to see who God is, what God can do. And we begin to build a leadership team around that person of peace. Locals that live in that community, that know the problems, the issues, the circumstances of that community. They know the resources, they know what's available, and that leadership team begins to transform, to change from, in Spanish it's integral, it's holistic, begins to transform that community from the inside out. And God, and the great thing is God's in the middle of all of it, and guiding and providing opportunity and opening hearts, but it all starts with that person of peace. When you work with community development issues, you're getting to know people at a very basic level, and you get to see how God changes them in a very simple, basic way. And we envision cell groups starting as these people get to know God better. What's important here are relationships. So when we sit down with Cecilia and her family and some of the community out there in Lydia, we may have a list of things, of business items that we want to go through and we want to talk about. But usually I don't get to those for 2-3 hours, because we just sit around and talk. It's nothing about looking at a watch, wondering when are we going to get this done. I have to stop thinking, are my goals going to be met? Because really the goals are building into the relationships and strengthening those relationships. And it's taken us a while to learn that. But we are starting to see strides forward, and people are starting to make decisions that we know that when they come to fruition, we're going to be able to walk away and leave it in the locals' hands and know that they are following God. They are reaching their communities for Christ, and they're doing it through their efforts, and which is just an incredible thing.
Really wonderful to have the church supporting you guys as a group to come here and to capture the vision and understand the philosophy of how we want to bring healthy change. And you guys are, just the way you guys are seeing things and absorbing the picture and understanding what we want to see happen in the future is very encouraging to our hearts. So this is such a beautiful situation, and we really want to thank the church and the team that's come down to see.